Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for some more of the URC. Now, this game's actually a rescheduled matchup that was supposed to take place in round number 1, but instead does happen just before we get to see the start of the Six Nations. But I hope you guys are all doing well. Looking through at the way that the table sits, both of these sides still very much top contenders for how this URC season could end, as the Sharks, they're sitting in 8th. But if they win this game and they win it comfortably, they could find themselves moving all the way up to 6th. If the Stormers win, they extend that lead a little bit more ahead of Ulster, who will still have their game in hand that they will have a little bit later on. But I hope you guys have all been having a nice day. It's been very hot here. I feel like I have been sweating all day profusely, but we're ready to go for some rugby, and we've got 3 back-to-back matches that we will be covering on the channel. First of all, though, looking through at the starting lineups for these sides, we will start with the home side, the Sharks. This game's being played in Durban, so they have got home field advantage. Looking through, it will be Machunu at number 1, Kieran van Vuren at number 2, and then it is Sadi who does slot in as number 3, Hiron Andrews and Gurbrand Grobler as the locking duo. James Fenter, Hinko Fenter, so 2 Fenters in the loose forward trio, alongside the big man, Pepsi Buthelezi there at number 8. We have got Novman in the chat who is updating on the BBL final. It's looking very close at the moment. Team from 6 needed, and Ollie's World has said hello. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. Looking through at the back line, Cameron Wright at number 9, Kerwin Bosch. Then at 10, Van Rensburg on the inside centre, Ben Tapawai on the outside, Putgaita out on the wing, and Apalele Fassi gets the opportunity to be number 15. The Sharks 30, Stormers 0. Now roll off. Is this similar to what happened in the 7s, which would then mean the Stormers are going to win? Because anytime you said New Zealand were going to lose to 0, New Zealand ended up winning. So is it a little bit of the role reversal? You actually a Stormers supporter, or is it maybe a bit of mind games? Early on, looking through now at the Stormers starting lineup, on the strong side, yes, their key players, we could say, but the same is said for the Sharks. Brock Harris, Joseph Weber, and Niddling for Share find themselves in the front row. Ruben van Heerden and Gary Porter at number 5. Then Dion Foree, Junior Pokomela, and then Marcel Tennyson does slot in as the number 8. Looking through at the back line, Herschel Yankees, Mani Labok, Dan Duplessis, Ruan Nell, and then also the return of Sinatla out on that wing. Keep an eye out for that man. At the moment in South Africa, it's 29 degrees. It's a little bit cooler than we got here in New Zealand today. It's certainly warm weather pretty much anywhere that you look in the Southern Hemisphere, which is absolutely awesome to see. Hudson Berg out on the right wing, and then Clayton Blomekes, a man who is taken to the fullback role at the Stormers like a duck takes to water. He just seems like he's been there the whole time. Hasn't had any real troubles yet for the Stormers, you could say. Is that because of the 4-pack that's in front of him, or is it just because he's that class of a player? We will get to see him in action in a very short moment as well. And do we get to watch live, or is it just commentary? Sadly, just commentary. That is mainly because of copyright. If we show any match footage or audio, they just take you straight off YouTube, sadly. But they do let you do your own commentary, so that's what we'll be doing. The URC highlights will be up on YouTube a little bit later on after the match is finished, so I do recommend checking those out. How did your cricket match go today? Unfortunately, the opposition did default. They didn't have enough players. So we actually got ourselves our first win of the cricket season. It's just we didn't actually play. But we're sitting all right on the table at the moment, so that's good news. Inside, you got to look at the positives. And also, it was so hot today that I don't think standing out in the field for around maybe 6 hours would have been too nice. I think I would have been very, very severely sunburnt by the end of the day. I support the Stormers. I will die. And there are only 2 teams in this world, the Box and the Sharks. It says roll off. And I know you're referring to the Cell C Sharks, but have you ever noticed how many sides are called the Sharks? Like, you've got the Cell C Sharks. You've also got the Sharks in the NRL, Cronulla Sharks. You've got the Cell C Sharks, of course, a different version of the same side. And then you've also got the Sale Sharks, the Gallagher Premiership, and Perth won the Big Bash. So they managed to get there in the end. Would have been a hard fight, though. At the end of the day, Brisbane Heat, to make it as far as they did, still very, very decent from them. A good season overall. It's Hamish time, says Listen and Go. And it is going to be, I guess, I didn't realize that was actually a thing, but it's going to be Hamish time for the next 7 hours. So hopefully you guys don't get sick of me. I'm just hoping it cools down here. I closed the door so that I don't make too much noise. And it's just like a sauna. I'm going to be like 2 kgs lighter by the end of these live streams, which might be a good thing. I've been bulking slightly and more of just I keep eating food. And GC South Africa won the series against England, but might not qualify for the World Cup in October, says Yanri. Now, it's a tough one at the moment for the South African side because everything in terms of short format, long format, every match matters for them at the moment. And, either that pressure is going to help them towards being able to qualify or it's going to take them down a little bit, unfortunately. And also, we have got there where the beer is hot, says, or where's the beer it's hot, says Wade. I think that was. I mean, I haven't got beer. I've just got a bottle of water. I've finished about 4 of these today already. The other Sharks need a copyright hit, says Roll Off. That's the spirit. Did they just mention that it's raining at the ground as well? No, it's sun out. Sun's out, guns out. And at the moment, Jaco Piper going to be the referee of this one. A very warm hello to your boss. It's great to be back. It's great to have the Six Nations back, says Sebastian. And welcome back, Sebastian. Hope you are keeping well and you're excited for the Six Nations by the sound of it. Who are you backing in the first 2 matches? England versus Scotland and Wales versus Ireland, the opener. Do let me know. But Dan Duplessis takes that one nicely for the Stormers inside of his own 22. It's great to have URC back as well on the channel. Been a little while since we've done a match, mainly because of all the sevens that were taking place throughout the night. Already a penalty in the first 19 seconds. Quite impressive. And also, Sup Hamish says, Annie, welcome in. Hope you are also doing very well. You are excited for a lot of rugby today. And even though I haven't been doing that much talking, I feel like my vocal cords now have forgotten how to work. Like I almost lost my voice earlier today from just talking, like at a normal pace, not even live stream pace, just normal talking. And the voice tried to disappear. But it's going to be the line out for the Stormers now, 45 meters out from their own line. Got the action replay there. It was just a little bit offside, I believe it was. In the end, yes, it was. And also, I do not like Jaco Piper or any South African ref. They are so bad. Says Yanri there. And go the Sharks, says Annie. And also RP, the genius, younger brother of Randy Savage. The genius. Now, I can picture him. What was his other ring name that he had, Kiwi Gamer? The genius. I'm trying to think of him, but he looks very similar to Macho Man. There's going to be a mark taken by Thika Abrahams inside of his own 22, so we'll be able to kick this one downfield. Some good distance on it as well. Doesn't find touch. So now this is the counter-attack that the Stormers will be after. And straight away, Clayton Blomakis continues his stellar first season for the Stormers. Line break for Mani Labok. One more on the inside. Herschel Yankees scores the try. And that will be within 2 minutes that we've already seen a Stormers try. And Wales by 3, England by 7. I genuinely believe the Irish will mess up, says Sebastian. And there's a chance. I mean, the Principality Stadium, some would say one of the hardest away stadiums to play at in Europe just because of the atmosphere. Definitely when the roof's on, you just feel like you're getting kind of suffocated with all the Welsh people. That sounds like I'm taking a dig at Welsh people. No, it's just because the stadium's so compact, isn't it? Big celebration there from Herschel Yankees. They won at Ireland and England will win. Says Attic and Roof is closed, says Gregor. So, yeah, that will certainly add that little bit more pressure. We haven't seen either of those sides in action for how long? Since November. So, at least a couple months. Yes, they've been playing throughout the URC, so that will benefit them slightly. But, yeah, I think we're going to get to see some exciting games. I think the match that I'm slightly excited for more than I possibly should be is, and this isn't the match I'm most excited for, just I've got a slight excitement level for the matchup taking place between France and Italy because I want to see what Italy's going to do. They didn't look too bad in the November internationals. A lot of people are saying they're on the up and they have to take on France straight away, which will not be too easy for them. Clayton Blomakis about to line up this kick to try and make it 7. And fun fact, there is only one team that has beaten the All Blacks more than any other team in the World 15, says Yanri now. That is going to be kicked over, so that will make the score 7-0 now. Help me, I'm high. How high up are you, Wade? Have you got a harness? Because that's probably the other thing that you should have. Health and safety, so important nowadays. Are you possibly on a roof? Because if you are, it's very warm. So maybe don't go on the roof today. And Wales and England can't be as bad as last year, says Attic. Well, that's the thing. You never know, do you? It's always a very tricky one. I remember, did England win their opening game up against? No, they lost to Scotland last year. I believe it was. About 22-19 in the end. And then also a comfortable win for Ireland at the start of last year's Six Nations. And what time are you going live for the Irish match? I believe we're going live 10 minutes beforehand. So that will be at about 3:05 a.m. New Zealand time. Had a legend Brisbane Heat sold. Or Brisbane Heat sold. Says it was there from Xavier. Yeah, I did see that the Perth Scorchers in the end managed to get themselves that victory almost in the final over. Yeah, the Jacks won last year. I can't have that happen again. Was he on a plane last time, says Roloff. Maybe that's why. And the Brisbane Heat sold. Who'd they get sold to? And yeah, England lost their last 3 games against Scotland. Yeah, a little bit of a dark horse side. The Scottish currently 45 metres out from their own line here. The Stormers still looking to attack again. Machunu makes the tackle. I almost forgot about the URC game that was going on. I was getting excited talking about the Six Nations. The fact that it's only a couple hours away. It's a flat ball to Apalele Fasi. Good low tackle made by Marnie Labok, though, to force a little error. Oh, no. Brisbane Heat should have won. I see. I didn't quite get that from our legend Brisbane Heat sold. It confused me a little bit. They got close, though, didn't they? And possibly a lot closer than some people thought that they were. Good morning, Hamish. Team just won the T20 Perth, says Bida Mick there. Yeah, big win for Perth again. How are you all, or how are all you Kiwi lads Rockets doing, Hamish? I'm going to be, or going back Stormers this time, or I'm going to back the Stormers. Tell you what, I'm not good at reading in this heat. Stormers this time, Cape Town side, says Roof. But I hope you are doing very well, Roof. Hope you had a good week at work and enjoying the nice weather. There's your Yankees on the halfway line, about to put the scrum in for the Stormers. And it is a successful one there for the away side. Cameron Wright puts his hands on Yanchis just a little bit earlier than he should have, and now it's a counter-attacking opportunity. Well done from Thaka Abrahams to get in the way of it, but we will be going back for another penalty. Last week at Levels Raceway, they left the mic on between one of the races, and you could hear what they were talking about. Says Kiwi Gamer, and Ireland only beat South Africa 7 times in their history in the box of 119. Says Yanri now. I see. It's a bit of a random statistic, isn't it? Out of nowhere. I feel like that was one of those ones that maybe because we were saying Ireland were going well, you were like, nah, can't have that. You got to make sure that they know who has beaten them a few times in the past. That one hasn't found touch. So now the Sharks kicking this one for touch. It is Apalele Fasi off his left boot, getting some good distance down towards the halfway line. How's my Sharks doing? They started badly, Spider Mick. I won't lie to you. They conceded a try within the first 2 minutes. They've looked a lot better since then, though, so maybe just got a little bit caught off guard by the early attack. And it was some very good passing from the Stormers in the build-up. So I'm working hard here, Sat. Beautiful weather. Thanks. Hoping you are keeping well there, says Roof. Certainly am. Enjoyed some cricket today. We didn't get to play, unfortunately. The other team forfeited. But we did get to watch the final between second grade for our hometown and also a side just up the road. That was nice. We got into the shade, which was pretty handy. And also, why can't South Africa Internationals play? Are South Africa playing this weekend? I didn't think so. Don't get it as well, says Jack. So pretty much the reason behind it is the Northern Hemisphere, those 6, they have their 6 nations. Then New Zealand, Australia, Argentina, South Africa all count as their different window of internationals, and that is the Rugby Championship. So we play more of our internationals in July. In fact, no, sorry, autumn and September, whereas these Northern Hemisphere sides don't actually play their games in that window. So it's just depending on the seasons pretty much. Are we making my appearance for the Stormers next week at number 10, says Wade? Nice one. Are they playing next week? I don't know if they've got a game next week, possibly, Wade. You might have been stitched up. And Stormers are my South African team, says Gregor, and Piper as a ref is the same as a victory for the Stormers. It's very biased against the Sharks, says Bandit. And also, may you have a chilled day at work, Roof. It looks like they are going to be taking on the 3 points here, the Stormers. I go for the 10-point lead. And you see New Zealand record against Ireland, one of the most one-sided win record out there, says Yanri. Although They beat us twice in New Zealand in the last, it was Autumn Internationals, wasn't it? Or July Internationals, I think it was. The Irish came on tour to New Zealand. Got themselves a couple wins. An afternoon, gents. Hamish and Sebastian. Welcome in, Nate. Hope you're doing well. That one's missed away to the left-hand side. It will remain at 7-0 for the Stormers after the 8 minutes. And last week on Flat Earther Arwen's live stream, he said that there's no evidence that the sun is an object out in space. He also said that there is no southern and northern hemispheres. Okay. Fair enough. In early days yet, says Spider-Mick, exactly right. And a lot of the position at the moment has been going the way of the Stormers. So once the Sharks get their hand on the ball, I'm sure they'll be a very handy side. Clayton Blomake's rush defense from Ben Tupuai takes him down 40 meters out from the line now. Dion Foree. In fact, it's gone off to Marcel Tennyson. It does get to slot in that number 8. Oh, that was almost a punch thrown from Dion Foree. He's a feisty little number 6. By little, I mean he's about 110 kgs and would knock everyone's block off if he was allowed to. Clayton Blomake's now fires the ball across to Marnie Lebock with the kick in behind. It's being chased hard. It sits up nicely. Was he in touch? They say no. So the Sharks have been able to get this ball back. And now it will be the number 6, Finta. Apparently quite a fast-paced game. You're going to probably see 2 or 3 drinks breaks, I'd have to say, throughout this one because it's very hot, 29 degrees. Stars lost to the Brumbies 31-26 today. I did see that. Unfortunately, not able to watch that game. I tried that link, and you did say about how it did freeze or it wasn't loading for you, and it was the same for myself, unfortunately. I'm so high. Must check book when the next game, says Wade there. And it's crazy how good New Zealand record is. Their worst is against South Africa with a 58% win record, says Yandri. And what's your feeling about South Africa and Pommies in the cricket? How has Ben Stokes getting Cricketer of the Year, says Roof in there as well. Oh, okay, Dion Foree. It wasn't a punch, but it was an open hand strike to the head of Cameron Wright. I don't think they're going to go back and say anything too bad about it. He'll probably get a warning and say, hey, aim for the chest next time and just, get him in the sternum rather than the head. Yeah, I'm looking forward to all the test matches that we've got coming up, although my schedule probably isn't because a lot of those ones are in the middle of the night, and I do want to cover a majority of them. Congrats on 22K, boss, says Nate. Thank you very much, mate. It has happened a lot quicker. I keep on trying to set myself milestones, and then we keep on getting higher than the milestones. So then, I don't know if I'm aiming too low or if I'm just really bad at guessing whereabouts we're going to be going. He middles with the blade. He must stay in the shade. Captain Stokes, Captain Stokes. I like it. And also, are you doing the Six Nations games today too? We are indeed. And then we have got tomorrow night, we will be doing the matchup between Italy and France. I believe that's the only one that we've got tomorrow night that I can think of. Sharks only defeated in the last 5 URC encounters was 12-24 at Connacht on the 7th of January. So it's almost been a month since we have seen the Sharks lose a game. And you think Eben deserved Rugby Player of the Year, says Yanri now. I mean, he's a workhorse, Eben Etzebeth. And when you look through the games that he has played, yes, there's always going to be people who go, someone else deserved it more. And there'll be people who say that they feel he does deserve it. I feel like he's definitely one of the top nominees that they could have given it to. And then it's just down to what they really decide. Would you move to the UK to work on Sky Sports commentary team if the invite was there, says Jack? Good question. I actually haven't been asked if I'd do commentary overseas yet. So that's one I have to think about. I would like to think that the only way I would do it is if I'm also allowed to do these live streams. Similar to, I'm trying to think if there's any commentators out there that have their own thing going on, but they can also do the international games. Because, I wouldn't want to miss out on doing commentary with the chat. I feel like that's the reason I started doing it. And that's what we're going to keep on doing. But I don't know, the UK, the weather's at the moment with it being so hot here, I'd be keen for some cold weather. So maybe UK wouldn't be a bad option. Brisbane Heat lost a very intense final. They did. I'm just glad that it was close though, because of course that's going to hurt Brisbane Heat not winning that final. But I feel like it's still a good thing that it went down to the wire rather than a one-sided affair. Now it is going to be up a Lelefasi with the Sharks, 22 metres out from the Stormers line currently. Cameron Wright plays halfback, goes across to Ben Tupawai, runs it at Mani Labok and Dion Fori. He's looking like he's going to have a very physical game. Now Henko Fenta drives forward. Cameron Wright sold the dummy, almost snuck through, but a good tackle made. I was the big man at number 5, Gary Porter. 15 out. Are you ready for Super Rugby? It's almost starting. I am and I'm not, if that makes sense. I am because I'm very excited for the competition. I'm not because I haven't done anywhere near the amount of preparation that I wanted to do before the competition gets underway. So I'm going to be studying flat out for the next 2 weeks in between working and also test match cricket and other streams. Wish me luck. Let's get it, Stormers, says Nate. And also, you've been busy, kids back at schools. Cheers, my bro. A much aroa to the whānau, says Nate. Little kick him behind, attempted, taken by Bromwich, and he's taken that one back, which does mean it will be a 5-metre scrum now for the Sharks. And a lot of extra pressure there being put on the Stormers. And also, we have got there Steve Borthwick, Spider-Mech for the English head coach. And I'm so hyped for the Six Nations games, says Xavier. The only thing that's not hype about them is the fact that they're on in the middle of the night, but I feel like it gives us an excuse to stay up late and watch more rugby. So I'm well and truly excited. Eddie Jones now has a podcast. Did you know? I didn't. He's got a new job, but I didn't know he also had the podcast on the side. Because, I mean, we've seen a few players have podcasts / I guess the only one, it's different, though, for a player who's doing like a commentary role as well. I was going to say Bryn Hall's a pretty good example of that. Seeing as he does, or he did before he went to Japan, he was doing the show in New Zealand and then also playing rugby. But yeah, I don't know about a commentator who's also doing live streams on the side on YouTube. I know of people doing videos, those to win 100%, or sorry, to 100% win Super Rugby this year. Rugby Itch, does that also involve Rieko Ioane getting player of the season? I would assume that it is possibly included in that. And what do you think about Stormers' backline up, Hamish? I mean, it's not as... Well, you say it's pretty close to how strong it could be, other than maybe Damien Valimza, the only player that you would say would edge his way in there. Other than that, I'd say it's pretty strong overall. It's great to see Sinatla back and Gold here at the moment. Yeah, nice. Enjoys this, says Nate and Rugby Itch. That's not how you spell rebels. Smooth. Reckon ABs win the World Cup next year. It's a tricky... Wait, next year? This year. This year. It's coming up. Only about 7 months away. It's going to be tough, but as long as they get through France in that game, that's the main thing. That's going to be the penalty going the way of the Stormers. They were defending a 5-metre scrum and just pushed hard. I think it was actually down to Brock Harris and also Nettling for Share, just getting that little bit of extra angle and working it well. And why does Super Rugby start so late this year? No, it normally starts the last week of February, doesn't it? Somewhere around there. So I think it's at about the normal time. But maybe since there's less sides in the competition than back in the day with South Africa, maybe that's why I've gone a little bit earlier. Goes to show how much the Aussie Rugby Union pays him if he needs a podcast on the side, says Sebastian. He's a wise man, though. I haven't actually, now that I know that he's got a podcast, I might have to give it a look. See he won't give away secrets, though, will he? He'll be very much hold the cards close to the chest, not give anything away. I'm on my way to Snake Island. Where is Snake Island? Isn't that like is it in Asia? No, they've got an island that just has a whole bit cats, don't they? In Asia? Am I thinking of the right one? It's going to bounce back. Tell you what, this is a bit of space here for the Stormers. Dion Fori dragged down on the 22. He's already having a very busy game. Oh, Joseph Weber. Normally it's his hands letting him down in a line-out, but instead now he's just dropped the ball cold. He's trying to smile through the pain. He's just saluted? No, he apologises. Okay, never mind. Joseph Weber disappointed with that one. And come on, Sharks. Hamish, guess what? Is this something to do with either betting or a lady gator? I know it's one of the two, because that's normally the only thing you'd say guess what for. There's spiders in New Zealand, dangerous ones. The most dangerous spider we've got here, probably a whitetail spider. If you're allergic to them, it can be lethal, but it's more of the case if they just create a bite. They're really the only spider that will actually say, right, you want a bit of a scrap, do you? Because, of course, spiders in New Zealand also speak speak English, don't they? It's hard to get excited about the Six Nations. Oh, well, that's nothing to care about, says Yanri. Now, speak for yourself. I think it depends on what country you're from. Because, like some people I have seen, there's been almost as much hype for this Six Nations as any other year, if not maybe a little bit more, just because it's so close to a World Cup. Everyone wants to see who's going to be at the top. I got banned from Ladbrokes. Was that the link that you sent? Was that one? And that's where this World Cup is going to be the closest, says Xavier. Oh, no, that was from Aiden rather than Xavier. So Ladbrokes, is that the betting one? Did you get banned from betting? How do you get banned from betting? Like, I feel like that's very tricky to do because normally, if anything, they'd want you to keep on spending your money. But see it as a blessing, Aiden. Stop spending your money on gambling. It's a good start. Get another Yanri comment that lower my IQs, says Sebastian. Joseph the Weber now. A line out throw for the Stormers. 15 metres out. Dion Furry goes to the Weber. And now this time almost breaks through by blowing $50,000 on one race. Yeah, no, that wasn't smart, Aiden. I've probably... I can name a lot of things smarter than that. That was a brilliant, smart run from Ruben van Heeren. Being able to score himself the try. They've just said welcome home. He was an ex-Sharks boy. Zahn Sullivan will tear up Super Rugby this year. He'll be the key to success, says a rugby itch. I hope that he gets plenty of game time. Because at the moment, other than him, who else would you have at fullback other than Bodie? Who else have they got that could go back there? I got to look at their side again. I'm looking forward to seeing Caleb Tangitau get a bit of a chance. And then my first taste of light beer last night, actually not bad, says Amelia. And I see you changed your profile picture. Those look very smooth indeed with, I believe that is 4 colours. Is that the Rebels? No, not quite. Is it the Rebels colours? It might be. And let's get it England. And also, how does one afford to spend 50,000 smackers on one race? Says Nov Mum. Well, yeah. They always say you shouldn't bet anything you're not prepared to lose. So, yeah, I think what was it, 67 cent bet the other year. It was almost the other year, wasn't it? But the other month, I lost that. Unfortunately, I suck at betting. That was a good try, though. And the conversion was successful. Score now sits at 14-0 for the Stormers. And the Sharks, they had that little tiny opportunity that made them look like they were going to get back into the contest, but it was a massive shove at scrum time from the Stormers, now inside of the 22. So Nutler takes it down. Also excited to post rugby live streams again. Looking forward to the Six Nations, says Rugby Itch. It's a sneaky little plug. I like it. Now Eddie Jones has gone England 50-50 chance to win the World Cup in Spider Mech under Borthwick. I'm currently in my process of editing my first video for YouTube. My ability for brain to process things is pissing me off, says Amelia. The thing that I would recommend, if your editing software allows it, is have little timestamps, or not timestamps, markers. That's what I do. If it's a long video and you're like, oh, this is going to take a while, I don't often get to that stage. But when you do, if you set a marker about a quarter of the way through, then halfway, and then another quarter, then you get to each marker and it feels like a little mini accomplishment rather than having to go straight through and try and do a cold cut edit of the whole thing. Give yourself little challenges. Say, like, I've got 30 minutes. Like, I'm not going to rush it, but let's see how far I can get in it. And then you'll find it flies by. Mr. Etchy, welcome back, says Gareth. And what's going on with the Sharks? The Box players even playing. So they haven't got Lukanyuam, no Makazole Mapimpi, no Ebenezer, no, also, who else are they missing? Bongil Manumbi they haven't got. So they're missing a few players. Khaleesi as well. And my intellectual disability getting the best of me, hence why, says Amelia there. But yeah, make sure to take plenty of breaks as well. That's the main thing. Don't try and overdo it, because if you try and overdo it and you keep on editing when you don't feel like editing, that's normally when the edit just feels like it takes hours. All main box players on a 7-week national enforced break, says Gareth. There you go. Forced break now. I'm just trying to think of what that prepares them for. It seems like a random time to have a 7-week break, doesn't it? And also we have got there, who do you think will win today's Six Nations games? I think to, I guess, go against what Sebastian went with, which I don't normally do. Sebastian's a very smart man, as all of you will know. But I'm going to say Ireland win. Even though it's at Principality Stadium, I think they narrowly get it. I'd like to think that Wales are going to put up a fight. Their team on paper looks pretty strong. So that's one bonus. But yeah, I'm going to say that it will be the Irish winning that one. And then I think it's going to be England winning. And then even though Scotland, like the other side, very good. But yeah, I think England get this one. And the Lions also lost 2 games. Are they also going to play their remake game, says Jan Renel? I'd assume at some point. I guess it just depends on when they can get the sides together. Did they lose games to South African sides, or did they lose games to Northern Hemisphere teams? Because that might change it a little bit as well. It's a small 3-minute video explaining why I'm a Rebels fan, how I got into rugby. Says Amelia there. Will be a good one to watch. Clayton Blomakis puts the ball high, knocked on by Cam Wright, and now bounces back for Junior Pokomela on the halfway line. Marnie Labok now goes across to Dan Duplessis, and as I'm stepping going, finds the offload to Dion Forey. Nice rhyming going on in the backs and the forwards for the Stormers. Now another big crash board. It's going to be Gary Porter, picked him on by Herschel Yankees. It's going to be a good one to catch for Apalele Fussy, but he's put it down. Dan Duplessis takes it, and now the Stormers have got this ball back again. There's another advantage. It's a knock-on, but they will go back for the original knock-on, and it will be the Stormers scrum. Here's my profile pictures, Rebels colours, with a photo of me from Super Rugby round last year. I see. They have to become the Box, or they have to because the Box play the All Blacks a lot this year, says Yanri now. And you're against Glasgow and Ulster. Okay, so because they've lost to Northern Hemisphere sides or lost those games, they'll be a little bit harder to reschedule, I think. And long year last year break now and start getting hardened before Rugby Championship, says Gareth. I have a question, Gareth, because I know that this is normally the case with, is it the cricket players or is it the rugby players? How everyone seems to end up, now that they've got a 7-week break, everyone's having babies in November. And I don't really have to explain why that is the case, but that just seems to be what happens. Just with timing-wise, get a nice little break, water break at the moment in the game as well. And post them up, Amelia. I'll chuck you a thumb up as well each video post. I'm going to my final 2 trips to Phantom this week, unless my mum gives me money to go during the last week. And also, Stormers running beautifully today, strong in all areas. Hamish House George says a roof. Yeah, so first part of that, Stormers doing very well. They seem to have more attacking ideas at the moment than the Sharks, and also that they had a lot more territory just trying to starve Sharks at that position. George is good. We actually went and watched a bit of cricket today, seeing as my game, we got our first win, our side. It wasn't because we played, it was because we got forfeited to. But a win's a win. And it's our first of the year, so we'll take it every day of the week. But yeah, me and George, we went down, watched some cricket, and then, yeah, went down, had a look at where we normally, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen. At the moment, every time I have a week, like during the week that I haven't been doing YouTube, I come back with a new story as well. So we've started fishing, me and George. We haven't caught any fish yet, but we've seen a couple. So that's a good sign. So yeah, we went to check out the fishing spot today just to see how it was going. It was very hot. There were a lot of people around. Now ball's been fed in by Herschel Yankees. Available at the back. Now short ball to Dan Duplessis. Another offside advantage. It's just a little bit too often from the Sharks here. The discipline has not been going their way earlier. It looks like Dan Duplessis might have done some damage to himself here as well. Has stayed down a little bit longer. Now finds the offload up, going back for the penalty to the Stormers. And I wonder if they're willing to take on 3 or whether they go for the full 7 as the option. And also, did you see New Zealand and South Africa will play each other in England at Twickenham Stadium? Yep, warm-up game for the World Cup. A very tough one. 7 November is when the ICC gives brothel discounts to the cricketers. It all makes sense, says Sebastian there. It's just all timing, isn't it? Who have New Zealand got next? Have we got England next now that we've finished India, or have we got Sri Lanka first? I know we've got one of those two sides. I believe making the thumbnail was fun. Just got to not get so frustrated with myself with editing. And that's the thing. As much as you want it to fly by editing, like there will be mistakes when you first start doing it. It's like all things. It's just you kind of get the practice side of things. Once you put in those hours, then you'll slowly find that it gets a lot quicker and it gets more efficient. And you just pump out videos left, right, and centre. The only team standing England's way to win the World Cup is South Africa, says Bida Mick there. You can't underestimate the Sharks just circling around at the moment, says Nate. Speaking of sharks, we did not see one while fishing. We saw a trout, though, and a few eels. Can the Sharks fight back? Yeah. They've got a chance. Will they? Probably not. It's early on in the game, though, so that is one thing that certainly benefits them. A wonderful Saturday of sports. Sharks versus Stormers, followed by Wales versus Ireland, England versus Scotland in a hurling league game tonight. 12 hours free-to-air sport. Yes, says John. Sounds like the perfect weekend, doesn't it? Like the fact that the Six Nations is back. A few weeks' time, we're also going to add Super Rugby into the mix. Test match cricket, if you're a cricket guy. It's coming up relatively soon. It's a fun time to be a sports lover at the moment. I just feel Ireland and France won't even make it out of the group stages. So you're saying that group stage-wise, it's going to be New Zealand and Italy, Yanri, in their group that go through. I assume that's who you're saying will beat France for their group stage. And England versus Black Caps 2-test series should be good. And not just because it's a good time zone as well. Should be some good matches. Whether or not Bazball, I feel like we're still going to see it on New Zealand soil. In New Zealand, they might become a little bit like Pakistan and try and bat for a draw, which I really hope doesn't happen. 35 metres out, Sharks, not all right. Kerwin Bosch now, short ball, or Rancy van Rensburg has fallen on his bottom, and it's going to be a penalty against the Sharks again. So that is one thing they need to fix. India take on India too. Yeah, they've got, Australia take on India too. I think that's in about 5 days, isn't it? It will be taking place. I'm going to miss Phantom when it leaves Melbourne on the 18th, says Amelia. And I think they're going to miss you because you've probably spent a lot more than a lot of people would have going to those shows over and over and over again. So just know that from your generosity of supporting them, they might be back sooner than you think with a different one. That one hasn't found touch for Money Lebok, and they've just mentioned that is the third time he has missed touch with a kick. Yet the Stormers, they are still 17-0 ahead at this stage of the match. It's been put high, nicely taken by Cameron Wright, finds his offload. Now here comes Rancy van Rensburg. In fact, it's Poitkata. Did have that one. Cameron Wright off to the left, kicked him on from Kerwin Bosch, looking for the 50-22, but the ball sits up favourably for Clayton Blommakis, who now boots it downfield. A very flat kick, but effective, gone about 45 metres, at least $800 on Phantom, I reckon, says Amelia. And also we've got to roll out the Six Nations, boss. It's exciting. I didn't actually realise till earlier today when I was scheduling my live streams for the Six Nations. Did you know that all the games in the first round are the same as the games were last year, except it's just a different home and away side? Like, I thought that they mix the draw up every year, but it's actually just you play the same sides. I don't know whether it's like a 2-year cycle and then they mix it up, or whether it's always been those are the games that happen in that particular order. Speaking about New Zealand, how bad are their cricket at the moment, says Henry. Yeah, not great. At the moment, now breaking through Hudsonberg, inside ball to Money Lebok, and Kerwin Bosch tries to stop. Money Lebok's dropped it, and he's bottled it. Tell you what, that is a mistake and a half from Money Lebok. Great work from Kerwin Bosch to not give up. He pretty much had his jersey, and he was not going to give that one up. And just exported the video, going to through the thumbnail, finalizing my mic quality. I had to film the video on StreamYard, says Amelia. Oh, StreamYard's not too bad. That's what I'm on at the moment. Overall. Tell you what, I was panicking the other night, though, when we were doing the sevens, because the match between New Zealand and Samoa was about to start, and StreamYard had some sort of error. And they were like, unfortunately, one of our third-party providers or something have shut down or have been shut down for a bit. So I only got that live stream pretty much set ready to go right when it went live. Like I pretty much got onto the live streaming software, clicked go live, and that was luckily when it came back, or else we would have been missing one of the biggest matches of the 7th circuit. Now, how do the Stormers keep getting the ball? It's going to be a drop ball now from Hudsonberg. The Sharks need to make the most of this because every time I look back, they don't have the ball. And it's 30 minutes through, and they seem like they haven't had an attacking chance other than that 5-metre scrum, which they then lost. And the Sharks need to get on a roll, says Aidan. They certainly do. Reckon Nicky Evans attacking styles for Marcus Smith get more control and calling the shots, says Nate. It'll be intriguing to see what kind of tactics get pulled out. They've still gone with that same selection of Smith and Farrell. That seems to be the combo that they really like going to. Up against Scotland, though, do have a few dark horses of their own. Stuart Hogg, I think a lot of people are excited to see what he's going to do this year in the Six Nations. StreamYard seems to be the easiest to work with, besides the fact the background makes it lag. They had to get rid of the background, so it's just a plain wall, says Amelia. Although I would recommend, if you aren't already, something that I do on StreamYard is actually set my computer into incognito mode. And apparently that stops Google from running in the background and actually slowing it down. So if your Wi-Fi is not that great, I recommend going incognito for it, and then you'll find it actually does work a lot better. Little fun fact. I'm going to be pissing like a racehorse later. I've had too much water today, but I've had to. It's very hot. Stormers have won their last 7 fixtures against fellow South African franchises in the URC. That is a stat. It's quite impressive. But that's the thing. The Stormers, as defending champs, they seem like they're definitely going to be right up there again. Why do you think cricket is not as popular as rugby for New Zealand and South Africa? Says Jan now. It just depends, because some people I know hate watching rugby and some people I know hate watching cricket. It just depends on, I guess, what you prefer. It's perfect for me because I like both. So I get to watch cricket in the summer and rugby in the winter, even though I don't really have an off season for rugby because we do cover these competitions as well. We can watch the game in New Zealand. It's on Spark Sport. Australia, Stan Sport, and the only option for South Africa, I believe, is actually Super Sport. Sadly, I don't think there's too many free options around. On a roll with lettuce and tomato with mayonnaise, Sharks not even there. If I got served a roll with lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise, and that was the only thing on that roll, I would only eat the roll and the lettuce. I'm quite a fussy individual when it comes to eating. Thanks for the tip, says Amelia. No worries. But yeah, I've found that it does help a lot in terms of Wi-Fi speeds. Penalties conceded. We've seen 8 against the Sharks compared to the 1. And also Australia, it's URC TV. Stan don't show URC. Oh, okay, so it's URC TV. In fact, that might be the case for a couple other countries as well. The URC TV, you can either get a weekend pass or a season pass and can watch all of those games. Yeah, this game is way too one-sided, says Yanri, and it's about to get more one-sided, I have a feeling. Is this rolling maul from the Stormers? Looking pretty handy. They're only 5 meters out. Make that 4 as Joseph Weber sits at the back, breaks off the side, puts the ball down. And it's another try for the Stormers. I'll say something right now. I do hope the Six Nations games are a little bit closer than this one. Because, you know, like they've just said, the Sharks seem lost. Like a fish out of water, eh? Sorry, I had to do it. Works so well in the scenario, though, because they actually do look like they are not sure what's going on. Unfortunately, it just seems like the Stormers have too much attacking for them to be able to handle. Australia have won 6 Cricket World Cups. That's insane, says Yanri now. They do like winning, Australians. There goes my multis. The Sharks are playing, but they don't want to be there. What site have you signed up with now, Aidan, if you got banned from your other one? Go the Stormers, says Joanne. Yeah, they're going. They are only 1 try away from getting themselves a bonus point already. They could have one by the end of this first half if the Sharks aren't careful. Still another 7 minutes left. Marnie Labok, been pretty successful off the boot today, other than when it comes to kicking for touch. He has missed touch 3 times already. And also, we have got the, fish out of water, eh? Stop it now, says Blues. Nate there. Yeah. Slightly went, maybe you could say I went fishing for it, Nate, that one. Yeah, good. It's 1:40 a.m. Unibet, says Aiden. I haven't even heard of that one. I'll be happy you'll be keeping them in business. But now, score is 24 points to nil. Ugh, it's not good. The moment for the Sharks. The thing is, though, they're still a very good side. Like, they're ranked 8th at the moment. A majority of the season, they have had to do it without their Springbok players. So they are used to the scenario. But it just seems like up against the Stormers, it's not quite working. To be fair, South Africa cricket team is very young. First game was in 1997. Australia has been playing since the 1800s. And it's on $2.50 multi, says Aiden. And yep, says Nate. Kieran van Veeren. About to throw this ball in. Stolen. No, sorry, he's on his team. Never mind. I got excited. I thought the Sharks had a bit of momentum going their way. Kerwin Bosch has kicked that ball away again. Looking for the 50-22. He's actually going to get it, though. So that's a good start for the Sharks. Just to try and start building something. Get some position. Get some phases put together. The problem that they've had at the moment is they've almost been penalised just as many times while they're on attack as they have on defence. So that's tricky to try and get that pure momentum building. And the Sharks team dominated Edinburgh and Scotland, says Janri now. Last time they lost was actually to Connacht. That was in January on the 7th, I think it was, somewhere around there, losing 24 points to 12. It's going to be slapped away to the side, and once again, the Stormers, they get the ball back. And kicked downfield by Clayton Blommakis, gets a good kick. That's not helping. He's kicking very well at the moment. Come on, score, please. 1 try before half-time and score another 3 in the second, says Aiden there. And go the Stormers, says Anna. And there. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got plenty more coming up today. We've got the 2 Six Nations fixtures. We're going to be covering France versus Italy for the Six Nations tomorrow night as well. And I think I've even possibly secured a George for that 4 a.m. live stream. Believe it or not. It's going to be a weird time to do one, but we are going to do one at that time, hopefully. That is if he's not working the next day, which I don't think he is. Cannot confirm nor deny. Kieran van Veeren throws it to the back. It's over the top. Sharks retain, though. And Ben Tupawai cleans that one up nicely. Now, Cameron Wright Sebastian will be happy. Romania up 38-10 versus Poland. I did see that they were playing. That's nice for Romania. Try and build some momentum heading into that World Cup and go Sharks. Or sorry, go Stormers. Yolika Ding. Says Ironrick there. Now Cameron Wright puts the ball high. So he's going straight into the shade. Slapped back by Thacker Abrahams like he was playing sevens. Once again, Cameron Wright has kicked it in behind. I feel like the Sharks in this first half have kicked the ball far too often. That's going to be a penalty now to the Stormers. Oh, another one. Yeah, I think they've kicked this ball away far too much, and it's just not working. You got to at least try and run it. If you get penalised in the breakdown, you get penalised in the breakdown. But at least give them something to penalise you for because you've got the ball in hand. Does that make sense? And the Stormers are in a great mindset today. They are. They're looking like a well-oiled machine at the moment who, if they weren't to get a bonus point, I think that would surprise a huge amount of people. Now, line out for the Stormers. Joseph de Weber, he's normally the one with the wonky one, but it's working well for him today. And he has been slowly improving throughout the last few rounds of the URC. Rush defense. Sharks get the ball. Ben Tupawai, first attacking chance of the day. The man looks like he's running in quicksand. He was going nowhere. But they're up to the 22 now. Short ball. Here comes up a Lele Fassi. First carry almost of the match for him. Went on attack. Hyron Andrews consider passing wide instead. Does just set it up at the line. Cameron Wright gives it off to Fenter. Quick hands out wide to Kieran van Veeren. Lomakis makes the tackle. Sharks most phases that they've put together of the day so far. Carlos Sadie goes to Kerwin Bosch, but the Stormers, they're a sea of blue. Just swarming next to the breakdown. Now passed off again. Big run from James Fenter. Over the ball. Almost a turnover for Dion Foree. Up a Lele Fassi goes to Andrews. the moment the Sharks, they're throwing the same 5 players at the line every single time. My voice almost disappeared there. That wouldn't have been great. Now Fenta goes one more to Ben Topawai. Digs in the hard yards there. Still attacking for the Sharks. Back off to the right. Now Putgaita. Knocked backwards in the tackle. Right goes to Carlos Sadie. Now Hiron Andrews. Round the side. Gurbrand Grobela does score between the sticks. And that will be the first try of the match for the Sharks. They are now back in it. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And the Six Nations is one of the most perfect time you can ask for in South Africa, says Yanri. Yes, it is. Although you did say earlier on that you weren't that keen on the comp. So are you going to be watching Yanri, or are you going to give it a miss like you said that some people would be? And who do you reckon takes over Fiji? Rennie says Xavier. I'm not sure. Because Fiji, for me, are a little bit similar to Samoa in terms of if they can get a good overseas coach in, can make a huge difference for them. I'd love to see Brian Lima go to Union, though, to coach. I don't know whether or not that would happen because he's been successful on the 7 circuit, but that would be quite a cool change. Although there aren't any of the Sharks players on the field, hot water. Stormers are blowing them away. Big storm today. And Hamish, you need an ice-cold Swedish chick. She'll send shivers down your spine. Sharks need to wake up. They fast asleep, says Ruth. So do you happen to know this ice-cold Swedish chick that you speak of, Ruth? Asking for a friend, of course. It seems Sharks are panicking if they start kicking their ball away, says Peter Williams. Yeah, it just seems like they're very keen on getting that ball out of there rather than just putting the phases together. Like, this was a very patient try that they were able to get. They waited about 15 phases, then finally broke through and managed to get themselves that much-needed 7 points. And I actually don't mind you looking away when Sharks have and lose their ball, says Peter Williams. And also, yeah, there we go. Let's hope for a comeback. I'm about to upload the video. Now I'm nervous to do so, says Amelia. If I could make a recommendation, Amelia, I don't want to delay you too much, but I would say make sure that if you're going to upload it this time, that's when you always upload. So you may be better off waiting until like an Australian night time rather than too late, if that makes sense, just so that it's easier for people to know what time you're going to be uploading each and every week or every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever the schedule is. Practice game for the Stormers fly half doing well there, accurate. Is Ruth just heard the halftime hooter. It's been a high-scoring one, that's for sure. And also, I'm going to set it for a premiere tomorrow. That's a good way of doing it, I would say. And only Wales versus Ireland, because Wales need to win to make the Irish pundits rage a bit. The best thing ever, says Yanri now. And seems the Sharks are panicking. Oh, no, I read that one, didn't I? And go Stormers go, says Piet. And also Stormers win this game. The ball's loose. Marnie the Bok kicks it into touch over the top of Herschel Yankees. And that is going to be halftime, ladies and gentlemen. Currently 24 points to 7 for the Stormers over the Sharks. I'll mention that we are a sixth of the way through the live streams that we have got on tonight. We've got another 5 halves of rugby coming up, the Six Nations, and also, of course, the second half of this game of the URC. And currently, they're still playing in about 29-degree heat. So they'll be feeling it massively. They'll need some ice at halftime. But then after that, she'll be good to go. And they will be ready for an exciting second half of rugby. What we will do is we will go on to our own betting site, not to bet, but to check the odds, see how likely a comeback from the Sharks will be. The moment, not likely. Best way of describing that one. It doesn't look like the odds makers have them in for much of a chance. But you never know. Watch to come back in the second half after the coach has screamed at them. Because coach is Neil Powell, isn't it? If I'm not wrong, the only thing hotter than the Stormers today is Kiwi Lads. Thanks, awesome commentary. Says Ruth. Thank you, Ruth. It is very hot here. I'm surprised that you guys, I'm not quite sweating, but you know when you're really close to sweating because it's just so hot? That's what I got at the moment. Like, I feel like if I was to run/step, I would end up with a sweat up. Merely upload it now. See Xavier, and what do you think is Italy's biggest loss? In terms of scoreline, I think they lost about 80 points in the game up against, was it South? It was probably up against South Africa if you're bringing it up, Yanri, was it? Aussie Storm was playing good, says Jan Lu. Sorry, yeah, they are looking very strong in this first half. And the Dalai Lama advises you not to bet, says Toby Hart. Yeah, no, I don't bet, mainly because I'm terrible at predictions, as you guys will know. So pretty much the only reason I have a betting website / like webs or app is so that I can see how the odds are sitting for these type of things. Toby said gambling is good. It's not. It is a form of addiction, which of course do not want to end up with. They're just showing that first try again. The Stormers did very well. And yeah, they lost 101-0 to South Africa. Does George bet? Nah. George is not a betting man. I remember when we were in Oamaru, we went bowling, as you guys saw from that video. We also decided afterwards to go into one of those rooms to have like all the pokey machines. And I realized then that George, like as outgoing as he is, he's very sheltered when it comes to like the world of gambling. You know, he doesn't know too much about it. And we're in G rolling Gatlin, says lose Nate and fire up Wales, says Nate there. And also we have got there, how good you sidestepping? Nah, shocking. If I try and sidestep, I'll break my own ankle rather than the opposition's. Probably should start to work on that again. I've had a couple months of sitting doing streams like test match cricket and also all the other sevens live streams and everything. You just seem to end up like with your legs feeling like they're jelly all the time. I'll look in my red book, Hamish, says Ruth there. And I'll come out at 4 p.m. my time tomorrow. There's Amelia there as well. But yeah, you always find like when you're sitting here for multiple hours on end, like I've mentioned this as well, how the setup that I've got at the moment, because the lounge is being renovated, I have to crawl under the table to get to this setup. Like it's quite unfortunate because the table's quite low. So you end up kind of banging on the back of the table each time you try and go under. But it's still a setup and it's working well. Stormers will make up for the losses, says Piet. And there as well. I'm currently looking at the way that they're sitting on the table. Stormers are looking pretty good. They are sitting currently in second. They've lost 3 games. They've drawn 1, which at the moment wasn't actually up against the side in the top 11, as you can see. It was actually that game that they did play up against. I want to say it was Cardiff, was it? Or Ospreys, one of those two. It would have been Ospreys, actually, now that I think about it. They did end up drawing. But, yeah, exciting first half. A lot of chances for the Stormers, not so many for the Sharks. But the key thing here is there's a lot of room for improvement for the Sharks in the second half. They gave away 10 penalties compared to the Stormers, like 2, I think it was. And also just no way the Sharks will win. Stormers are just dominating South Africa conference at the moment, says Jacques. And then Hamish, who is your teams to watch this season between Super Rugby URC World Cup and the Heineken Champions Cup, says the Wayne. So, okay. Super Rugby, unfortunately, is going to be Crusaders, of course, because they're always right up there. I'd say the Blues are a team to watch, though, this year. They've got a good squad. They'll be looking to go far in the comp. URC-wise, I think it's going to be Leinster and the Stormers at the moment. They are the top 2, so it's easy to say them, but they both look like they're on real good form at the moment, heading into the later stages of the season. World Cup-wise, I think keep an eye on France. At the end of the day, it is going to be a home competition that they will certainly not want to lose. But I think also South Africa defending their throne, they're going to try and get something going there. And then Champions Cup, I'll probably go either Leinster or... Who's my other side? I mean, of course, the South African side, it would be nice to see them do well. Normally, this is nothing against South Africa as well. Don't take this one personally. But it seems to be, at the moment, the South African sides haven't been going too well on the road in certain competitions. And, like, not as an insult, just as a statistic that we've seen a little bit lately. So, you know, I'd like to say the Stormers or the Bulls or someone like that, but more than likely Leinster and maybe another Irish side or French side. Toulouse are always a dark horse. At the end of the day, they did make it very far, and they actually knocked out Leinster, wasn't it? Or Munster, sorry, last year in that kickoff that they had. And also now I play Union, says Xavier, and also Smoky Argentina, Ohio. It's a great game so far. It's on free-to-air TV here in Ireland. See, that's great. That even though an Irish side aren't in the competition, they're showing this game in South Africa. Or sorry, not in South Africa, in Ireland and other regions for free, because that's how you get people intrigued into the comp. And I assume they're going to show all the Six Nations games for free as well, which is ideal. You're going to get to see a whole heap of action. And those ones, balls are already out. They play Toulouse in France, says Jan Rinal there. Because they're up to the round of 16, aren't they? Are the round of 16, is that a two-legger or just a one-legger? The round of 16. I'll have to try and refresh my memory, but at the moment, my brain's saying that it doesn't know. Can't remember if it's 2 legs or one. It might be 2 legs. And then quarterfinals might just be the 1 leg. Or is it round of 16s also actually just the one? Most South African rugby games are shown on free-to-air over here, says Richard. So yeah, I guess that's just with the URC type thing that they are going to keep on showing it. I'd love to see, the Curry Cup, it's coming up soon. I don't actually know when it starts, though. Stormers, of course, says Burton in there. And which Union clubs are you playing for at the moment? And also we have got their Northcote Union Club. Says Nate, still showing the highlights of the first half, the halftime break. And we did see that try finally. Gurbrand Grobler actually able to get himself a try. Something that we don't say too often for the big South African lock, but got the job done there. And needs a lot more of it in the second half, if I'm being honest, if the Sharks want a good chance of winning this matchup. Key players, you'd have to say, even though the Sharks have been back against the wall this whole matchup, someone like a James Venter or maybe, you would say Gurbrand Grobler, because he was able to score himself that try, but yeah, it seems to be the forwards in this game for the Sharks have been more successful, whereas the backs for the Stormers have been more successful, and the Sharks are now paying $5, and the Bulls have nothing to lose. They should play attacking rugby, says Toby Hart. And I guess the big question is whether or not they will go with their A side, because I know that has been mentioned a lot in terms of sides putting out, I hate the term B team, because at the end of the day, the squad's still the squad, and you just got to adjust to whatever you put out there on the field. At the end of the day, no one puts out a side that they think will lose a matchup. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how strong they go with their lineup. Whether or not it's a little bit of a risk and go, we'll put a couple big players in, or whether they just go balls to the wall and unleash all fury in France. See what they can do. We're getting to see the Gurbrand Grobler try about 15 times on replay here in New Zealand at the moment. I actually think my photo editing skills came in handy with the thumbnail, says Amelia. And from your profile picture, I'm sure that the thumbnail will look pretty decent. And who's your pick of the Six Nations, Hamish? Good players to make their mark this year. A man's name that's on a lot of people's lips is Josh Van den Flair, just because he's been brilliant over the last few years. For Wales, Chiperick, I think, is a player I'm looking at. And also, I want to see a big season from Josh Adams, just because he was slightly quiet last year. Either him, maybe Liam Williams, someone in the back line to really step up, show what they can do. And also, Bulls A team lost to Scarlet B team, so no chance, says Jan Renau. And Pieto Smith has said horrible in there as well. I don't know whether or not that is the score or the commentary. Probably both, I'd assume, Pieto. So we do apologise. Or I can apologise for one of them. I can't apologise for the way that the Sharks are playing at the moment, because it has been, as you said, horrible. 10 penalties conceded in that first half. Just not good enough. A score, mate, says Pieto in there as well. I guess I still keep my apology for anyone who does need it for the commentary side of things. I'm aware of the halftime score, Xavier, says Sebastian there. And also we have got in there as well, True Buddy Top Sight. Who else we got? Top players who haven't I done? England, I think Marcus Smith. He should be good this year, just because he might be given a little bit more freedom now that Eddie Jones is gone. They might go out there and play like you do for the Quins, Other than, of course, don't go down by 20 like they do for the Quins and then make the big comeback. Instead, just start high and keep going. I'll probably live stream some of the Rebels away games this season once I can figure out how the hell to get the scoreboard on the screen without having to write the banner, says Amelia. So pretty much the way that I do it is I have it as a separate tab and then do end up screen sharing that tab. And then sometimes it updates by itself and other times I do have to keep it updating myself. This feels like a long halftime break. Am I the only one who feels that way? I think the players might all be in the ice bath, just going, right, boys, we'll get the temperature down a bit so we can go back out there and then dehydrate because it will be very hot. I apologise for how the Sharks play, says Rolov there. And also Lions are playing Racing 92 in Joburg. Should be a good game. I see that the Stormers play the Harlequins. The Harlequins can't catch a break in the Champions Cup. Like, they had to play the Sharks in their first round. Now they've got to play the Stormers. It's just pretty much South African side after South African side because the Sharks are getting the crap beat out of them from Neil Powell, says Pieto. And also we have got the Amelia use OBS. That's what Hamish uses. It's not what Hamish uses. Only for live streaming, like gaming, I use OBS, but I'm on StreamYard at the moment just because I do find it a lot easier. It's more expensive, seeing as it's not free for certain plans on StreamYard, but I just find that it is limited in some regards, but good in others because we can just set up like this and it's not really any problem in that regard. So it also helps. I can't imagine doing the amount of things that we do on OBS, being able to go back to back to back by entering that new stream key each time. On this one, it's just all set up and you just bang, bang, go. It's good. And also Sharks play Munster and Durban for the round of 16. Says Yandri, and we'll take on all service. Keep them coming, says Sebastian. I feel for Munster, says Yandri now. They are just showing the scoreboard and the standings at the moment. Fun fact, Ulster, who are in third, actually have a difference of points differential, 3 more than the Stormers, who are above them. Interesting. I did not know that. The more you know. You smiling people in the fans or in the crowd, also known as fans. How do you get the scoreboard up on OBS? I am not actually too sure about OBS, to be honest. I know how to do like a gaming live stream and have our face cam up in the top corner and then have the game and then George in the other corner. That's literally as far as my OBS knowledge goes. I realized, though, the other day when StreamYard was down, how heavily I rely on it. Like, if it wasn't for StreamYard firing back up, I wouldn't have been able to do that Samoa New Zealand live stream just because I wouldn't have known actually how to do it. And also OBS, old Bruin Sherry, says Vieto Smith. What does it actually stand for? Online broadcasting software? I don't know. It's Brown Sherry. And the Ulster Stormers game, really, Ulster's points differential are not the best. KP performance, says Sebastian there. But the kickoff for the second half is just happened. Marnie Lebok kicks it deep into the Sharks territory, and Upper Lelefasi takes it nicely. Runs straight at Brock Harris, which hurts. He's a big boy. It looks like they are once again going to go for the kicking tactic. It's taken back, was the comment from Cameron Wright, although the referee says no. And hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new. Welcome in 24/7 to Kiwi Lads. He doesn't actually work 24 hours, says Nate. Not every day. Some days, though, it feels like it. Like when the Sevens is on, she can be a pretty solid day. And when Test match cricket comes back, I don't know when I'm sleeping, but it should be at night time, hopefully. It should be good fun. Overall, Joseph Weber. Got to throw the ball in, nicely taken at the front there by Ruben van Heerden, one of the try scorers earlier on in the contest. Big run up from Dan Duplessis. There was a little bit of concern if he did have an injury in that first half, but he does seem to be all right. To continue now, Mani Labot. Oh, that looked bad. Apalele Fasi got his knee in the wrong place, almost ended up getting it crushed. Luckily, he too is going to be okay. Now, Lomakis goes across to Johan Nilin Fushier. Yankees goes to collect him. Lomakis, Sanatla, first touch of the match, and he's going to score the try. At least I think he did. Yeah, he's dancing. He should have put it down if he did. Yep. Very good try. Start of half, and that is the bonus point now for the Stormers. Already know it's going to be a mod when it comes to my live streams, says Amelia. And now I'm on it, Amelia, says Sebastian in there as well. Nice wide pass. Is it the fellow who plays the Phantom in Phantom of the Opera? And also I was going to say Sebastian, but you guessed it, says Amelia. And also played cricket today. I won by 0. 100 runs, I bowled someone. Over 100 runs. Okay, I see. Game, set, match. Says Aiden, yeah, she's not looking good at the moment. And the odds say that same thing as well, with it being not ideal. It's a bit of a shame that our cricket games keep on getting cancelled. I feel like ever since I decided I'd start recording them with the GoPro, the games just haven't happened. Whether it's like rain, but then it stops raining, whether the other team don't have a team. Next week it is going to be a home game though, so that is good news for us. Although it's supposed to be quite warm like it was today. Mani Labok lining up the kick. I just realised I've been awake for about 20 hours. Well, not quite 20, about 19 hours. Whoops. Oh, kicked over again. That will make the score now 31 points to 7. Oh, wait, really? I should probably talk to Hamish about it. I'm a decent part-time mod, but also a full-time knob head. Which part am I talking to her about, Sebastian? The first or the second part? Both, some would say, hold substance. Bloody hell, can someone take out the Stormers as well? Maybe it's a good time to start a braai barbecue, have a few brandies and Coke. And the Brisbane Heat lost the BBL final. They did, but they fought hard. And that's the main thing. Yeah, really 9 out of 10 times you're on here, and Hamish already gets mods anyway, says Amelia in there. I think we've been very lucky in terms of the moderators that we've had. Just because it seems to be no matter what hour of the night it is, someone is on with the spanner, which is handy. Come on, Sebastian, you're a top bloke, mate, says Nate. That's quite a fancy. You're quite hip, Nate, because you use Nate with an 8 and mate with an 8 as well. All this rugby is killing the game, says Barry. All this rugby is killing the game. Oh, I've just went. Talking about, sorry, my brain went blank. I think you're talking about the amount of competitions that we've got around the world, aren't you? In terms of so many matches. Time zone difference, says Nate. And there, that's going to be kicked out on the full by the Stormers. This is a chance for the Sharks. If they can still somehow fight towards a bonus point here with 4 tries on the board, that would be absolutely massive for them with the way that this first half did end up going. Ooh, front row getting changed. The whole front row. It is going to be Carlos Sade Mchunu and also Kieran Van Feren all making their way. I forgot that ref. I bet you John Dobson from his Yako Piper a year supply of red wine, says Pieto. So do you pay for Pro version to get the scoreboard up on StreamYard? Says Xavier. I do have the Pro version, but I don't know if you do need the Pro version to be able to get the scoreboard, if that makes sense. I believe you can still share your screen even if you don't have Pro. But you just have limited hours that you can stream for, I think is the way that it works. Oh, ball's a little bit loose, but the ruck from the Sharks now looking a little bit stronger. Nice run forward. Cam right by you, kicking that away. He kicked it in behind. Blomekes is going to be under pressure, but he gets it across to Hudson-Berg. He gets it into touch. I feel like the Sharks, like we mentioned in that first half, they're just kicking too much. Like, the idea of kicking normally is try and gain some territory, whereas in this game, it's just been kick it for the sake of kicking it and then just put it out. And also, Neil Powell can organise Piper a year's supply of bananas. Come on, Sharks, says Pieto. How many bananas on average do you think a person eats per year? So, no, when I was having like smoothies, I was having 1 a day. But I wonder what the average consumption, I should say, of bananas per year is. We always ask the hard questions on this channel, as you guys know. Upper Lele Fasi. Looks like Cameron Wright begging for the ball, and he does get it. Now Bosch, duck down from Gerard Robela. They're going back for the penalty again. We had a lot of penalties in this game, although the second half, it seems like more are going against the Stormers this half. I eat about 2 a day in winter, but I only eat watermelon in summer. Do you like mangoes, Xavier? I won't judge you if you say the wrong answer, but there's only one right answer, and it's not no. Because mangoes are fantastic. At least in my experience, a mango is a fantastic thing. But it's got to be an Australian mango. I blend mine with my protein shake. Yeah, it's a good way of squeezing them in terms of, like, I don't know what potassium does, but it's good for you apparently, so you have it. What else does a banana have? It's got banana. It's got fructose. Fructose, is that what it's? Glucose, all that stuff. Vitamins of other sorts. The yellow. Down the short side. Oh, almost able to break through. Now the Sharks, 10 metres out from the line. Another attack just about to be unleashed here. Currently the score is 7 points to 31. Potassium. So what does potassium do? I know that K is the sign for potassium on the periodic table. Look at us being all educational on the rugby, eh? Who would have thought it? Now another short pass. A replacement tight here, prop. Sharks just using that pure brute that they can around the side. It looks like it is going to be up. Lilifasi goes short to Henko Fenta. 10 metres between them and the try line, and their second try of the match. It is going to be 7 phases in at the moment. Still patient, which is exactly what they need to be. Cannot afford to throw it away now. It's another big run. That time, James Fenta. On the side again. Stormers defence looking solid. It doesn't look like they're willing to go out wide now, though, for the Sharks. Just continuously going forward. Player not releasing, or almost player not rolling away now. Janse van Rensburg look for the offload. The Stormers, they kick it in behind. It's going to be a foot race. Looks like Sibonello Sanatla is going to win that foot race. The ball sits up for him. Passes on the outside. Rugby can be an absolutely brutal game at times, and the Stormers get themselves another one. More than 1 billion bananas globally per year. Google says, wow, that's a lot of bananas. I wonder how many bananas does a tennis player eat in a year? You always see them getting stuck in during the breaks between games and sets. That is true. And also the mangoes with the throw up from Xavier. And I'm a mango man. Oh, I like mangoes, man, says Pietro. Also, mangoes are the best, says Amelia. I'm very picky when it comes to bananas. Have to be the right yellow. I don't eat them much these days. Bananas are a weird one because some people prefer when they're pretty much black on the outside, and other people sometimes just eat them when they're green. Although I don't think they don't break down as easily if they're green as they do when they're ripe or something like that. I don't know the science, as I'm not a scientist, but yeah. All bananas, they've got to be good for you. A nice salad as mango slices, bacon bits and a mango thing? I've never had bacon and mango together. And now my brain is interested. They are just showing Sanatla kicking that ball up. Then he did find that pass on the outside to Hudson-Berg. They are making it look easy at the moment. Here, the Stormers, they now move themselves up to 38 points on the board to the 7 of the Sharks. I'll be honest, I didn't think this game would be this one-sided. In fact, I thought it would be a lot closer. It works. Have to give it a go. And hi, Stormers, says Alan. And there's an hello roof. I wish I was on fire. Could help coping with the Goldie and -2 at the moment, says Sebastian. Jeez. See, goes back to that age-old question, doesn't it? Would you prefer to be too hot or too cold? And I think after today, I'd prefer to have to put on some layers if it was cold. But then I have bad circulation, so I'm pretty much screwed either way. Now there's going to be Cameron Wright, once again kicking for the Sharks again. Now slap forward. I put the guy to downfield from Clayton Blomakis. Now a step on Bosch. Gives it off to Thacker Abrahams. Forward pass there into the hands of Kerwin. Bosch is going to be play on just for now, though. Cameron Wright across the Henko Fenta. This is the best attacking opportunity. You've just got to go. If you're the Sharks, you cannot afford to go around the side of the breakdown. You've got to go on the fast break, which is exactly what they're trying. Tapawai, ball on the outside. Now will be James Fenta, 10 metres out from the line. They've got an advantage as well here for the Sharks. Short ball. Henko Fenta at the line. Right again. Goes off. That tight head replacement's been everywhere at the moment. And also, would you rather be too cold? Can't get warm. Too hot? Can't get cold. Not Maya. Would it be tied 24/7 no matter how much sleep you get? Not matter. What it be tied 24/7? I'm slightly confused. And bananas have appeal, says Toby Hart. They're an easy snack, aren't they? Like, because you're not eating the outside layer. And I feel like we're onto something there. Because when you think of an apple, right? Like, you can shine it up all you like, but it's still been touching whatever you've put it in. So if you put it in your backpack out of a lunchbox, that apple has touched your backpack. Whereas a banana, you're getting the thing on the inside. So it doesn't matter if the outside's touched something bad because you're getting something else anyway, no matter what. So I think I'd rather constantly be too cold than too hot, because too hot, you just feel like you're sweating all the time. Like, that's what I've got at the moment, because I got the door closed and all these lights on. It's already like hot today, and now it's hotter. Bananas and Pajamas, that used to be an absolutely banging show. Bananas and Pajamas are coming down the stairs. You know that one? Bloody good. I used to admire those bananas. And I don't know why they were chasing the teddy bears, though. I wasn't quite sure about that. It seemed like there was a bit of a dispute between them. Maybe going to Dr. Phil or something. And also, Sharks left their game plan in their dressing room, says Ruth. Yeah, it's not good. 31 points down at the moment is much more than I thought I would see. In fact, 38 points is actually more than I thought we'd see in this game. They were high. Were they? That would be a plot twist and a half. Did you get a haircut, Hamish? I did. You've spotted it. I do have shorter hair now. It doesn't sit right at the moment just because I did have hair that was long for so long. I don't like the smell of bananas. Prefer pineapple, says Ruth. Okay. I'm quite a fan of pineapple too, to be honest. It's very good. Now, Henko Fenta back across again. The Sharks 5 metres out. They've actually had all the position in the second half now. Now Cameron Wright goes off to Ben Tapawai. Now just looking for that option. Gerbera Robala already scored today. Still 27 minutes left. Do grow a mullet. I'll join you, says Peter Smith. The problem is I had long hair, but now it's not as long. So I feel like my mullet growing days are probably over because I missed the opportunity. Possibly, unfortunately. Now that's stolen by Dion Foree. Just very good in a breakdown and always gets those important turnovers. Daughter the Explorer was in my area, especially with my area being practically Hauso's destination, says Amelia. But can you count in Spanish? Because uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Is that Spanish? Cinco, something. Ocho, something like that. Can you see Swiper? Yep, he's there. I don't see Swiper. Where is he? He's there. You used to get frustrated with that show. You'd be like, oi, if you need glasses, just get them. And then you'll see Swiper and all his bloody stars around as well. I feel like that was from the childhood heart right there. And Sharks look like mullets just floating aimlessly. So here's Riv. It's going to be thrown in. Now Ruben van Heerden doing nicely, keeping that ball on the side of the Stormers. Now, Paul DeVette out there on the field. I remember I shaved my head the day after I graduated high school. Still feels hella weird, but not as weird because I can actually comb my hair now compared to within the first month, says Amelia. Yeah, I'll be honest, like missing that part at the back. Like it was long for so long and now I can like feel the back of my head. But it doesn't feel any lighter in terms of weight just because my hair's that fine and like kind of light that it doesn't make much difference. Just saves a job, doesn't it? Don't have to comb it. Well, not as much. It's going to be a knock on against the Sharks again. Hudson-Bergie did end up slapping that one, but it did go into touch backwards off him. It was already a knock on from the Sharks player. We are currently only 55 minutes away, ladies and gentlemen, from an exciting Six Nations starting matchup between Wales and Ireland. I shaved my legs, but won't do the head, says Ruth. Shaved legs would feel really weird because my legs are quite hairy. This feels like too much information, but they are. Like, that'd feel very strange. Definitely in pants. Although I know that women, of course, I know them so well. They often say, or the ones that I have talked to, say that after the lady has shaved her legs, apparently I got distracted by Novmans there with my hairs down past my butt. And of course, I was talking about the legs and whatnot. So I got confused. But yeah, apparently, as soon as you shave your legs as a woman, right, or a lady, or whoever does it, not judging, but apparently, when you lie in a bed with fresh sheets, that's apparently like a really good feeling. I've never experienced that feeling, and I don't think I ever would. But apparently, it's nice from the extensive research that I've done by talking to two women. Maybe I should start supporting the Blues, says Pieto. It's a decent side. They've got a chance this year. Going to sell all my Sharks jersey. How much are you selling them for, Pieto? I haven't got a Sharks kit yet. I'll pull the vet at the back. Going to be a big push again. And the penalty goes the way of the Stormers. So the Sharks, even though they had a little bit of momentum earlier on in the half, it seems like that is now being swept away. I like my mullet, says Nate there. Did I mention about my new Phantom Teddy? His name is Eric. He's sort of my emotional support Teddy. And he goes, 1 cent. 1 cent is a bargain and a half, Pieto. With free shipping? No, that would be harsh, wouldn't it? I wonder how much it would cost to send something from South Africa to New Zealand by freight. It'd be a fair bit of change, I would think. More than 1 cent. And Shark are strong when all the box players are in the team, says Piet. They're struggling a little bit at the moment. I think I've said that same sentence about 50 times overall, just because it's true. And yeah, I'll come in a boat. Oh, yeah. That will take like a little dinghy. That's the first one I thought of, but you're probably talking like a freight, like big boat cargo ship. We were in Timaru the other day, me and George, and there was a massive cruise ship. And George was loving all of the foreign ladies. That's going to be a try now for Mani Lebok. Another one for the Stormers. And can you get actual Sharks to deliver your Sharks jersey across the ocean? Says Sebastian, $1 New Zealand, 10 South African rand. Says Yanri now. Mani Lebok scores his 5th career try. Just a mistake from the Sharks again. Not ideal. This game has the potential of having one side getting 50 points in this match, it's a little bit sad because who doesn't love a close game of rugby, you know? It's normally what you want, what you're after. Right. Kicking opportunity for Mani Lebok to make it 45. Cricket score, says Nate. Is that mine or the BBL score, Nate? Do let me know. And also 43-7, flipping great. Says Vieja, legit. I've seen people walk into the building, same Teddy, and that's how you know you're not the only one that's been more than once, says Amelia. And that kick is actually missed. Mani Lebok is missed from 15 metres out. Well, the Stormers is having fun. Geez, says Roloff. They certainly are. You jinxed them by saying they'd have nil Roloff. I think that's where it went wrong. And then from there, they've just continued going and going and going. Right, Bosch has kicked off long. Yelpinke takes it nicely. The score is not surprising. Sharks are nothing without the box. Here's Yanri now. And also we have got that they have fun over the Shark, and Stormers kicks Sharks butt, making shark paste out of them. Or if you look at my statistics, I've been 6 times, says Amelia. It's probably lucky you didn't buy a teddy each time. Oh, this game's looking like a great score. Stormers at the 50 mark. Now it makes sense. And actually, if they hit 60, that's roughly how many, unfortunately, our senior team or our biggest team got bowled out for today when we went and watched them. Not ideal. Definitely not in a final, but they made it to the final. So that's the main thing. That's another knocked on. Ball from Cameron Wright. Turnover from the Stormers. And now Paul the Vet wants it on the inside. He's been tackled pretty high from, I believe it was Apalele Fasi. Now Mani Labok. Wide pass at the Hudsonberg. Forward pass to Clayton Blomakis. And they will have to go back for it. And the Sharks team lost 35-0 to Cardiff. Says Yanri now. It's currently not looking too good for them here as well. And damn, says Blues now. Yeah, it was a bit of a shame. George asked a lot of questions just because that man, he's new to cricket. But we're slowly teaching him. I only brought the teddy because I wanted to for a while. Just didn't have the money or the energy to get one. Says Amelia. In there. What was I going to say? Oh, I was going to say about how I remember going to the teddy factory when I was a lot younger. And I got a cat, a ginger cat made up. If you have Wi-Fi, how can you go to live streaming? Please tell me. Says Julian Jacobs. So whereabouts are you in the world, Julian? I'll try my best to help you out. But yeah, it depends on whereabouts you are. Normally, best bet is urc.tv. They will have the different passes that you can buy to be able to watch it. Got a little display next to my Virgin River books. Says Amelia, big scrum from the Stormers again, but Cameron Wright just manages to get it out in time. Nice inside ball to Jansi van Rensburg. Now Wright again goes off. Big run from Notchia. It's going to be the advantage for the high tackle as well in favour of the Sharks. Why are you kicking that, Ruan Kronya? Got to hang on to the ball a bit longer, boys. They just seem too keen to get rid of it. Speaking of cats, still remembering Billy. What an absolute legend, says Sebastian. Yeah, so I think that's why I ended up getting that ginger cat, like, stuffed toy when I was younger. Because you could get a voice box in it. And I think it just meowed. But now that voice box doesn't work. But I still remember when I was younger, my sister, she chopped the stuffed toy cat's tail off. Straight through. And rather than retaliating, I just sat there and went, well, that's unfortunate, isn't it? Because a cat without a tail, it happens, but not from a scissor chop. You know? South Africa has a long tour against West Indies, says Yanri now. Now short side, another try this time for the Sharks, though. That's a little bit better, and thanks here to go Stormers, says Julian then, because I already know I'm going to rage with the Rebels at some point this season, and Stormers both, says Daniel. Also, we have got there. I'm actually a Leopard supporter. They are the Northwest Province, South Africa. Now, nice carry forward for the Sharks. Daniel Juster does manage to score. And this one is a high-scoring game. Like, as one-sided as it is, if it's going to be one-sided, you still want it to be high-scoring. And that seems to be what we've got here. Was it after work experience week at the abattoir? Says Sebastian. No, she was just in a bad mood. Just went straight through. And also Sharks will come back, but won't be today, says Novmum. Speaking of Sharks, if me and George, because we've been a couple of times this week, if me and George were to go fishing again, is that a video you guys will want to see? Of us having like a GoPro set up and going fishing? Or is that something that you would not want to watch? Give you that is 1,000 Rand to have you keep the Sharks outfit. Says Jacques in there as well. Oh, I love a Sharks kit. I've looked at them online before. It's just getting them over to New Zealand seems to be the tricky part. I'm a South African touring in America. It's not the best time to watch the Six Nations, says Yari now. Now, 14 points to 43. Then the Pumas was the second best string Timas back in the second string teams. I thought there was some fancy way of saying it, but it's not string Timas, it's second teams. Well, string teams, sorry, I should say. I would find fishing boring, but watching George fish, I would love to watch. Says Xavier. And Lecker, says Shirley Jacobs. Come on, says Pierre. It's kicked downfield. Stormers consider the quick throw-in. don't go for it. And also, yeah, boss, why not? Should be fun to watch. Says Blues. And I should mention we haven't caught a fish yet, but we've seen a few. So that's one thing. He did throw a piece of chicken in an eel the other day. The eel was fine, I should mention. It didn't get hit by the chicken, but yeah, George kind of made his own eel colony by just sharing his fried chicken with them. So eels like fried chicken, apparently. Anyone who didn't know that? There were some big boys. They were like this wide or like this round, which I would not be too keen on catching. And going to visit the road where John F. Kennedy was assassinated, says Yanri. Well, make sure you keep your head down. It's going to be nicely claimed by the Sharks. Hutgaita now on the outside. Kronya very close to the touchline. Just manages to stay in. Could you use some dynamite at the end of the fishing vlog? Go with a bang, so to speak. I mean, I know it's not The Simpsons, so I don't know how that would work, but either that or like put the electric current through the water, perhaps. See how it goes. Short ball to not share. Still going forward. And also, hopefully you lads catch a mermaid for my brother-in-law. He's single, says Nate. I mean, if you're going to be fighting between your brother-in-law and George in terms of who gets a mermaid, I'm sorry, but I think your brother-in-law is going to be single for a bit longer. You know? George would be very fascinated by a mermaid. Now it's going to be another penalty advantage. This time it's going to be the Stormers penalised. So the Sharks have got this ball again. The Sharks also play in second division. When I grew up, they were called the Banana Boys, says Roloff, which actually ties perfectly back into when we were talking about bananas earlier. 17 minutes. Sorry, not 17, 13 minutes left in the contest. And it does look like there's some deep breaths being taken. And Yaria said this game has not been fun at all. It's been fun for the Stormers, I'm sure. 43. Strangely, it's easy to imagine George chucking manically dynamite at the fish. Or watching him cast, it's kind of weird. Because if you think of George, you think of like a really like aggressive, put everything into it. But his cast, I don't know what he does, but they only go about 5 meters. Like, I don't know whether he's trying to cast them too high or let's go at the wrong time, but yeah, he doesn't get much distance on it. But sometimes the fish are right in front of you, so you never know. Also, yeah, the Lions were called the Cats, the old Super Rugby days, says Yanri now. And now the Sharks, 10 meters out, still on attack again. Second half has certainly looked a lot better for them. They're actually only 2 tries off getting themselves a bonus point, which would be massive with the scheme of this match, the way that it's been going. Considers going around the side, just land on his face, which is not that nice. Rankronia now finding the offload to Jansi Fans Rensburg, who drives the legs, but he's taken down. Now quick hands. Looking around for Daniel Yosta again. See if he wants his second try. Cameron Wright tries to go himself. Oh, there's a quadruple blow of the whistle here. Okay, they're saying that there's more than likely a head clash here. And he was asking him to lie still, but then he was trying to grab his knee. So I don't know whether he's hurt himself double whammy, bang, bang. Got a sore head and a sore foot. Either way, they did stop it. What happens to him? Yeah. Might have taken a slight knee to the head, but only a slight one. I think it was actually the knee, the way it bends. Ugh, yeah, ugh. Ew, that's not looking good. And also, we have got the hey, how you do? Hope you're all well, says Katie. It is good to see you, Katie. Hope you're excited for the Six Nations. Nice time zone for yourself in America for those games. The Sharks, as a second division team, beat the Bulls in the Curry Cup final. That was that. They never looked back. Says a roll off. He's seeing stars at the moment. I think he avoided a head knock because the ball was, or not the ball, the guy's knee was coming through. This is a knee, solid as a patella, and it kind of went like that. Got him a little bit, like a little tiny knock. So I think it was more the knee falling awkwardly, maybe. Did we lose Billy, says Scrum last year? November. A little fella did pass away. Anyone who doesn't know, Billy is my cat. Or was my cat. Still is my cat. in spirit. But yeah, November. That's crazy to think that that's 3 months ago that we were in November. Like this year, we're already in the second month of this year. I've done nothing in terms of outside of YouTube. I've done a lot of streaming, done a lot of videos. I built a fence, which was fun. But other than that, what else have I done? Nothing really. I'm going to have to change that. In fact, while we've got another stoppage, let's get some suggestions. Okay. What do I have to try and achieve during February? During this month? It can be any random thing, such as be able to run certain distance or doing some random activity. I'm curious to see what you guys suggest, and we'll see whether or not we can tick off a few of them. Of course, I won't do all of them because you guys might be weird with it. If G, I'm so sorry, Hamish, I've been out of the loop. I'm trash. It's no worries at all. The end of the day, fun fact, well, not really fun, but no one actually knew about it till probably about a month and a half after it happened. I kept it on the down low, as the children would say. So, like, a lot of people only found out pretty much this year rather than last year. So you're all good on that one. And also we have got there, not to be mean, but man cats are horrible pets. Depends on the cat that you've got. That's going to be another try for the Sharks. And Gubra Robala does score himself his second of the match. And last year went too fast, and this year's already going quick. Watch it. It will already be time for Virgin River Season 5 will come out. Hey, there's this. The far now's good. Says Nate, but Gubra Robala reaches out with his very, very long arms. Scores his second try, lands on his face again. He seems to have a bit of a habit of doing that. But the Sharks are now one try away from getting themselves a bonus point. And some would say it's a bit of a consolation one, but it will still help them out in the overall scheme of the table. Currently looking at it, the Sharks, they're sitting there on 33. That will actually take them up to be on Benetton's point, and they will overtake Benetton with a game in hand due to the points differential. So win-win. The Sharks, if they can get themselves one more. Also, we have got there, whatever you do, boss, support you. Says it was there from Nate. And by the way, the haircut is 10 out of 10, Amish, says Scrumlass. Yeah. I'm not sold on it completely yet because this part looks weird with the headphones, but I think it's also because I had a hat on earlier. But it's short around the side, which is weird because like now I can feel like my neck. I have to put sunscreen on at the back. My brother wants to take my Phantom Teddy and give it to his little buddy as a gift. I understand my brother being in year 6. He's not getting his greasy mitts near my Teddy, says Amelia. And Billy is eating sardines and lapping milk. As with the inspiration, I try to do some skateboarding or push-ups with one hand. I do have a skateboard. I don't have muscles, though, so the push-up might be a little bit trickier. Oh, they're stopping for an HIA now. So Gubra, he will have to go off for the HIA. I did say he likes landing on his face. So that's happened again, unfortunately. So now with 7.5 minutes or so left, at the moment, they still need one more try to get themselves the bonus point. Awesome system. Good, says Nate. Big run 4 from Nortshire. We'll have to go 75 meters or so here. Get over the line. That's going to be a big counter ruck there from the Stormers, but the Sharks just able to retain it. Head driving down there for the number 6 Fenta. Yosta and Sinatla having a bit of a pushing contest off to the side. Bonus try for the Sharks. And congrats on 22k subs. Thank you very much. Hugely appreciated. We have once again hit it a lot quicker than I expected. And yeah, I don't know what our next goal really is. At the moment, I guess 25,000. Probably the next big one. There's nothing better than working out hard when something is not going well, says Yanri. And also, how does a 20-meter drop goal sound recorded, of course, says Sebastian. Actually, now that you mentioned that, me and my mum were going to do a goal kicking challenge against each other. So maybe that's the time this month to do it. But we're going to be playing tennis together, not like on a team, but just against each other at some point. So that might be quite a fun one to possibly film as well. I think my mum's just gotten used to the fact that I now film things. Because at school, they've got this buddy system for the first years and final years, and the big buddies give gifts to the little ones. says Amelia. Also, bonus try for the Sharks, says Lose Nate. And they are just showing all the big scrums that we have seen from the Stormers every single time. Just big push. That was loud. Hopefully, I didn't wake anyone up. Also, that's called a face crush. Falling on your face. Sharks woke up a bit late, says Roof there. And also, we have got the I'm doing okay. Found I have breast cancer. Go for an MRI this week. So, yeah, hopefully that does go well. Mum. And what I messaged on Discord is 100% going to be, I guess, held on my end, if that makes sense. That wasn't a sentence. But yeah, you've got the full support of the Kiwi Lads community. If you need anyone to reach out to, you know where we are. Also, we have got their shave. Says Roloff, I do need a shave. The question, though, Roloff, is do we go with the full shave or do we leave the mustache again? You know? Because the mustache is the only thing that keeps me looking like I'm not from New Zealand. Like, on my driver's license, I do look like I'm some sort of, like, Colombian drug dealer. Which, is it a bad thing? Probably. I'll probably get searched a lot more. Now, Cameron Wright, another big push from the Stormers. They get themselves another penalty as well. I love you always and forever. Says Grumless, and so sorry to hear it. I'm hoping you're going to pull through. Says Sebastian. That was the big man, Alistair Vermack, in the front row. Seems like the Stormers scrum time just every time. Pushing them back, putting them under pressure. I think it's gotten warmer in here. It is toasty. Water required. Six Nations not too far away, ladies and gentlemen. That will be Wales versus Ireland, an exciting contest. Marnie LeBoc's taking on 3 points here rather than going for the 7. I wonder if that's to use up a bit more time, but also give his team a bit of a rest. And also, we've got there pray for positive results. Kika sending a Nov Mum says no. Even that water was cold at the start of the stream, and now it's warm. It's unfortunate. I have to do the next stream with no pants on. That's a joke. I wasn't wearing pants to start with. 10, 9, 8, 7, they've said. He hasn't got too much time now for Marnie LeBoc, but using up the full time available. I'm back. Says, wait, your legs? I mean, nah, don't think we'd shave the legs, to be honest. I feel like the face is probably the better option overall. Marnie LeBoc just hits the crossbar and goes over. That is some skill right there from LeBoc, but that will now make the score 46 points to 19. And also we have got there, that was a nice West Virginia twang you managed to wiggle in the Irish. It was pants, wasn't it? It didn't come out right, but it kind of sounded like it was Southern. Also we have got there, my wife in tears. No, Mum, anything we can do? Says now a CT scan to see if it's spread. Fingers crossed it hasn't. And good afternoon for the Stormers. They did everything right, says Ruth. Almost into touch. Or was it? Yes, it was. It's the Sharks now. They take it quickly. They know that they need a try here. Can 2023 go F itself already, says Amelia. I mean, there's still another 10 months left, or almost 11, so there would be a lot of effing itself. He'll get very tired, I would think. Oh, big shot from the rush defense. I believe it was Ben Davids who made that tackle. Now, young number 21. Now, we don't see the regulars such as Grant Williams or who else have they had at number 9 in the past, the Sharks. They've got a few guys that I can't think of off the top of my head. Now, passing it across, diving catch from Buthelezi. He didn't think he was going to have to continue this match. 2023 is best already, says Xavier. And also, go Sharks, lose, go Ireland, says Roloff. Yeah, that game's close. We are going to be starting our live stream in about 20 minutes' time. Be sure to stay tuned for that one. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more coming in the near future. Now, another big run from Jansi Fans Rensburg. The ball comes free, though. Oh, deliberate knockdown. That might be a yellow card. But first of all, it is going to be now Kronya. He's got your Pinke with him. Oh, he cut on the inside. He shouldn't have, though. Just needed to stay as the support option. Good offload there from Hinko Finta, keeping the ball alive. Big shot coming in from the Stormers defense. Now Marcel Tennyson working hard. Trying to get that turnover. Now Notchia short ball. It's a knock on, though, from the Stormers. And now Apalele Fassi, he's back. He's been tackled without the ball there, Hudson-Berg. But the reason he was tackled was because he should have been able to catch it. That's going to be the forward pass. And it's going back for the scrum. And also, I still can't believe Edinburgh has shot themselves in both feet. Could have been a home game, but no. Says scrum lass. Hopefully I pronounced the last word correctly for you there. And had all the letters involved. 2.5 minutes. Stormers, they'll just be hoping that the Sharks don't get themselves a bonus point here. That will be the main thing. Cut them down. Let them leave this game with nothing. It's harsh, but it's the reality. They want to make sure that they don't give the other South African side any confidence whatsoever as they move further through the comp. This was actually going to be the round 1 matchup, fun fact there, between the two sides, but it ended up taking place instead at this point of the competition, about round 14, I think we're up to, somewhere around there. There's still a little bit to go before we get to the playoff games, but alongside that, they've got the Champions Cup that they are taking part in. But then again, I got into Phantom of the Opera around the time it arrived in Melbourne, so I can't complain. The Stormers yell like a ding, says Jonathan, and the Sharks has just bit a guy's head clean off. Goal for California, says Jan Renel. That's not good. That's probably not ideal. 2 minutes left. Scrum at the moment from the Stormers every time has been dominant, but this time the Sharks win themselves the penalty. I've said that they're angling there. Oh, that one. And let me start the braai. And sounds about right. RP Sharp victim bliss, says Scrum Lass. Some deep breaths being taken there by Dian Blula, I believe it was. The right road, 20 minutes go. Six Nations kicks off. And there says Nate. It's exciting. Even though I just yawned, it is exciting. That's only because I've been up for about 20 hours. But that's not claimed by the Sharks, unfortunately. And now, once again, you can see the disappointment on the face. Oh, did Kronya hurt himself, or is he just frustrated? I think he's just frustrated there. It was 19 foot long. And also we have got there Stormers equals Sharks net. And also we have got Stormers from Wade. And open to Heck. They've got the original Phantom book in the bookshop on Tuesday. Been looking forward to it for ages. Says Amelia. Okay. Just explaining that one there was Jaco Piper saying that they pivoted a little bit more in that last scrum than they had the scrums prior. So I expected a big straight push here from the Stormers. Definitely with their own scrum feed. Paul Levet. Yep, to put the ball in. I'd like to think that the Stormers would have one last attack, but I don't think they will. They're also trying to say, stay awake for Wales versus Ireland. Just watching replay of under 20 Wales versus Ireland. Yeah, that took place, didn't it? The under 26 Nations. I didn't actually get to see that one. The game's on YouTube, Novmum. Is that where they're doing those games? I know that they did them on YouTube last year, I believe. Now short ball off to Sanatla. And now another chance. Offload there. They're 22 meters out, so there's no way that they would kick this ball into touch. Now surely. Now short ball. It's going to be not gone, but they go back for the penalty. We second in the world on shark attacks behind USA Florida. And also forecast, my guy said there's a stormer. Says Nate, and also Go Ireland, says Scrum Lass. So yeah, it's going to be a good game, that first one. Wales and Ireland, and then we get to see England versus Scotland. And I'm not sure just watching it on Sky. Okay, if it's on Sky here, normally it's probably not on free to air for us Kiwis that I know of. Oh, they're going to kick for the corner here. These Stormers. All of a sudden, this last 2 minutes, I have yawned quite a bit. My sleeping pill's starting to kick in, says Amelia there. I didn't take any, but it seems like I did. And we're number 1 on Fatal, however. There's roll off. Now, Andre Hugo Fenta about to put the ball in. Nicely claimed by the Stormers. Now, that looked a little bit like Sunday was trying to get that one towards the touchline, but the rest of the side want to keep on attacking. The Stormers feel that they can bring up 50 here if they get it right. Now, goes to Ben Jason Dixon. Bordevet, inside ball. Now, around the side again, it will be one of the try scorers, Van Heerden. 10 meters out, Sharks. Did they get the clean turnover? No. Still just on the side of the Stormers. Cross kick from Manny Lebok. It's taken. Bosch takes the mark. He's taken the quick tap as well because they do have to keep on going here. And now, being taken down. Are you able to take a mark inside of your in-goal area? Because that's what he's done. But now looking for the bonus point here for the Sharks. Big fend from Putgaita. Close to the touchline. Stormers trying to get the turnover. Not quite. Now, once again, Kronya goes across to Yapinka. Numbers on the outside if they decide to use them to the right-hand side. Apalele Fasi. Still out there on the field, and he looks like he's going to be playing quite the first receiver role. And that's 167 points to 27 win for Romania. So Xavier, and who's going to win England versus Scotland, fam? Borthwick's boys garbage or gold? I think, to be honest, I think England win that game, but Scotland will make it a fight. Because Scotland actually beat England last year in their first game of the Six Nations. So I feel like that might play on the minds of the English just a little bit. But nonetheless, that is going to be the end of this matchup. And the end score in this one has been a high scoring one, and that is 46 points to 19 in favour of the Stormers. But we do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We will be back in the near future, which is only about 13 minutes away, and that is with the Six Nations, Ireland versus Wales. But thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you all very shortly for the next live stream. Yeah, we'll catch you all for the Six Nations.